back to my original question, Jim, of like, as you're now meeting new people when you meet someone for the first time, how do you actually structure that?
I do it very similarly the way that you just described. And you kind of had me with the word that you just used, lower your guard. Because as you said those words, I thought to myself, wow, I have had to unlearn many of my past biases. I come from the finance world. When I started work 30 years ago, it was some people were in ties and business shirts. And in my world, everything was about being professional, being credible, and to have your guard up, right? And what Dan is talking about is, especially in Silicon Valley, and somewhat unique to Silicon Valley, is this concept of letting your guard down first, connecting first, and then getting to business. And I've had to learn this and continue to remind myself, and I've gotten a lot better at it. And I've watched people do this, very successful people. So the tip and trick I would give everybody is see who does it really well in your own networks, at your own companies, at events, and copy from the best. Look for patterns, look for pattern matches of what they're doing to connect with people if you're not as good at it. That's what I did. I was like, oh, that CMO of marketing or my CEO, how did they do that? How did they connect with people? And you can look for patterns and you can practice them. It's like anything else. You almost have to practice them. And the one practice is letting your guard down. I remember when I first got to Silicon Valley Bank, I didn't work Silicon Valley Bank, but as a client, I didn't understand how they operated. But over the years, I realized they operated with this relationship first. They would invite me to events, and I thought I was going to get this big pitch, use the bank, do this, do that. No, they would literally get up on stage and say, we just gathered everybody here together because you guys are all cool, and magic's going to happen here, and we have no agenda. And I was like, what the heck's going on? And I realized that's kind of how Silicon Valley works. And I've used that as an example because they continue to do that. And they go relationships first, and they just know that they can mold that into what needs to happen once people can let their guard down and trust each other. So you had me at let your guard down, Dan. So that was awesome.
So I think it's a little bit daunting to get used to just like talking to people and striking up conversation. And I think a lot of what I've picked up over the years is to basically, like, I have a very like particular like tactic, or not tactic. So if I'm meeting like a new founder, I'll focus a lot on like my background more as a sense of like, here's a set of stuff I've done that's been like valuable. And like, I'm happy to talk about my time, like working with the White House, the USDS, or like getting started at Mozilla, or like when was early at Greylock and helping out, to the extent of where you are and how can I help you in any particular way. I actually don't talk much about what I'm doing with Sweat Equity now, especially with founders. And I have them like tease that out instead of like you that. So like really focusing on the set of things that are hopefully most valuable to that individual, so that you can then provide some sort of awareness or education or something directly to that individual. And we all have things in our expertise and background that we can do. And then one of the things that I talked to Jim about was earlier in my career, everyone that I spoke to was more valuable. Like that interaction was way more valuable to me than it was to them. And at some point in your career, like that value will shift, like will switch, where like your interaction to them is more valuable than their interaction to you. And like what I would then recommend is like some people kind of turn to jerks at that point and stop interacting with other people or people that they view as being beneath them, which is a colossal mistake. And so part of what you really want to do is continue to invest in not just the people that know more than you, but the people that are kind of coming up, because you never know when that intern is the new CEO of like some massive company in the future.